Hello, Echo here. Welcome back to FTB Infinity. I am working on getting some applied logistics auto crafting going. I've kind of done it a little bit different. I was going to put them in this room up here, and I've messed around a little bit. I've ended up doing it off camera. I was going to do this on camera, but I've put it all in and it's working. So I've decided to leave it up here. What I've got is 8 molecular assemblers in here, and I've got them all recessed into the ground. You can't actually see anything unless you actually come up here. These have each got 4 ME interfaces on them. Now these kind of up to 6. The thing is, the way these work is, I'm way down. There it is. This is the mess underneath. Check this out. There's they've all got lines. So that's 8 going in there. There's 8 there. 4, another 4, and another 8 going in there. So we're actually using 32 channels. So I've got a dedicated P2P just for this. 32 channels going into there, which is why I've gone for 4 8s. 4 8s obviously 32. So we're using full 32 channels. Now the thing is, when you've got these set up, what I should actually do is make the terminal, so we can actually see what's going on. So let me quickly make a what's it called? The terminal. I can't remember what it's called. It is called a, not a pattern terminal, a ME interface terminal. There we go. Let's make one of them guys. So let's quickly chuckle them together. Can I make one of them? I can. Interface terminal needs an ME interface. An engineering processor. Yeah, I need an ME interface. There we go. Oh, did it not need one of them? Oops. I've done the wrong thing, and I've made an ME terminal. I didn't need to. ME interface terminal just needs a panel. Never mind. Ooh, get off. So now I should be able to make that. There we go. And the way I'm going to have these is, I kind of plan to have these in these gaps in the middle here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a bit of cable out of there. I've got a lot of cable made at the minute. I've got some somewhere though, I'm sure I have. There's a bit, I use a bit of red. Why not? And should have a cover as well. Let's have a cover for it. There, and then our ME interface thing is going to be there, and we can put a cover on it, keep it looking a bit tidier. There we go, lovely. So if we look in this, you see we've got 32, which is right. So obviously I've got 32 things up there. Now each one of them has got 8 slots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Each one of them's got 9 slots, like I just said. And if I was to have loads of crafting patterns in this 9, then what would happen is, if I was to craft something that was here, yeah, and then I tried to craft something that was there, it'd obviously have to wait until that was crafted. So the best way to do these is to put your crafting patterns down, so that each one, when you're doing things that are associated, so if I start putting patterns in here for applied logistics, I'll put one there, then one there, then one there, then one there, so that each one uses a different thing. So rather than having, I could have had like 5 of these with 6 each, but because I've got 8 with 4 each, it makes it so I've got a little bit more open up, if you know what I mean. I plan to have these there and there, or possibly there and there, at least 2 sets of these, maybe 4 sets, I'm not sure. The other thing of course we need for crafting is the actual auto crafting itself, the crafting storage, crafting CPUs. So if we put on that from applied logistics, we've got the basic crafting unit, which is like that, core processors, a crafting monitor, and then 1, 4, 16 and 64k crafting. All I've made at the minute is a 64k crafting, because I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to want this. So for now, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to bang that down somewhere on network. Let's do that. I know we've got auto crafting. It's not going to be fast, but it's going to give us a bit. I should have a channel available to it. Yep. So now we can do some auto crafting. Of course, for that I need patterns as well. So I need the other terminal, which is the pattern terminal. And that's that guy. So that is a crafting terminal and a processor. Okay. So I think I need a crafting bench for this. And I can upgrade my ME terminal that was accidentally made. into a crafting terminal, and then make that into a pattern terminal. Sweet. And then I need some blank patterns, of course, which I've got no glowstone, hardly. So let's make 8 of them, which is very, very poor. So I'm getting really low on stuff from the nether quartz and glowstone. I could, of course, just run a quarry in there, but I'm trying not to. I think I might have to, though, to be honest. I think I may have to. I moved them fancy conduits into here. I'll show you in the cell in a minute. I moved the fancy conduits into here for now. What I want actually is my controllers. So I'm going to do the same on this side as I had on the other side. And we'll eventually have more and more P2Ps coming out of this controller. That's another thing I need to show you actually. It's getting really confusing already. I've only got like a few. I'm going to actually fill this side in. Didn't need to put that middle one in, because the middle one, as you see there, stops working, which is weird. So what I'm going to do is the same on this side. I'm going to have my pattern terminal on this side of it. I could of course fill all these in if I wanted to. Put covers on these as well, but I'm not going to bother for now. So yeah, I'm only up to, if you look at this, 12 P2Ps. I was already getting really confused. So what I've had to do is I've made a clipboard. These I've checked on the forum, on the GitHub and stuff, and it's been requested quite a few times. People have requested if you could name these. These are not named. It's a damn shame, because it makes it so much easier if you could just put a name in the AV card or the memory card or something, so that this one, when I mouse over it, it says like Northwest Tower or whatever, because it's really hard to keep track once you get a few of these. So what I've done is I made a little clipboard. So southwest red is these 8. So it's, if you look on the map, I'm in the southwest, kind of. Southwest of the controller, red. And if I do some on this side, I'll do a different colour, so this will be southwest blue or whatever. So that's southwest red, and you can see there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got a Northwest Tower. What I've done, because that molecular assembly room up there has got a full 32 channels, it's had to have its own dedicated thing there. So number 5, which is that one, is a dedicated one that goes up to the Northwest Tower. So that room up there, it's got them 32 channels. So that's that, and then the 7 one there is the bottom of that one, which is of course the one that's on here, feeding the reactor. So it's really easy to lose track. So I'm going to do it like that. Eventually, because of course we're going to be feeding P2Ps into these cells, and some might need 1 or 2, some might need 4 or 5. So I'm going to have P2Ps there, more there, there, and then under there, and possibly, probably not up there because we've got power, but I can get a lot of P2Ps onto this, a hell of a lot. So yeah, I need that clipboard to kind of keep me on track a little bit. On my other clipboard, let's have a quick look. Bees, we're going to make a start on today. Special IO rooms, we're kind of done. RF tools regen, I'm going to wait for that until we do blood magic, which will be coming pretty soon. AA auto crafting I'm doing just now, and RF teleporters we covered last time, so we're getting close to getting blood magic. I need some processing doing as well. Processing, and I'll put that in a cell because I've got stuff unprocessed still. Not much, but I've got some stuff unprocessed. A bit of lapis, some diamond, a lot of coal, and some redstone. Speaking of redstone, I mentioned that I was running out of cinnabar. I've actually run out of cinnabar from the cinnabar ore. I can get some cinnabar from redstone. I don't get a great deal. I made a resonant pulverizer here. And you can see up to now from 54 stacks. So that was 64 stacks. So we've used about 18 stacks there. We've got 4 stacks of cinnabar of it. That's using a pulverizer with the upgraded secondary chance, and that gives you about I think about a 45% chance of getting a cinnabar. So I'm processing this. When I go to bees, of course, my redstone will come from bees, so I won't get any redstone ore, and my cinnabar I won't be getting any because you don't get that from bees. So this is a limited resource unless I decide to keep quarrying or laser drill or whatever. But for now I'm not going to do any of that. I may have to in the future if I cannot keep up with power production. But I'm getting as much of that as I can. just for now, and then I'll use that to process the uranium, so I'm getting 4 ingots per. As soon as I run out of that, I'm going to have to go to the rich slag to process yellowite and uranium, which gives me 3 anyway, but I've got plenty of rich slag from processing that other. Well, no, I ain't got loads, so I've not got a great deal of that, to be honest, have I? But I'll get as much 4 times and 3 times uranium yellowite as I can before I do anything else. So there we go. Should I show you the recipes for these? Pretty straightforward molecular assemblers. Just like that. Basic stuff. It's basically an ME interface with a crafting table in it, I think, isn't it? And a bit of glass. So as you can see, it's all covered upstairs, but each one has got 4 ME interfaces on it, which is how you get your recipes into it. So 1 on each side, and then it's got power going in through the bottom. So I could have put more on, but more need more channels, so I'd have to get more channels up here. I'm not sure if these subnet work very well, are they? They possibly do. I've not actually tried subnetworking these. I think it maybe cause hiccups. I've just used 32 channels for that anyway. So we have got crafting now. I can put these in here, these blank patterns. And what we're going to start off with is a bit of Gendustry. So let's look at what we need here. So the first thing we're going to need in Gendustry, oh man, we'll have to need all these machines actually, aren't we? I probably don't need a couple of these, but we're going to go with the advanced mutatron is what we need. So I need an assembly table. Of course I don't. No. Looks like I forgot about that bit. Looks like before I do anything else, there's no alternative recipes for them, is there? I need an assembly table because I need pulsating chipsets and stuff. Okay, so I guess I'm doing a bit of buildcraft first. I'll get some stuff together. Make sure. Let's have a look. I'll just do this straight off the bat. BC silicon. I should be able to actually. Assembly table. Diamond gate. Diamond gate needs a gold gate. I can do a thermal foundation gold gate. Make that into a buildcraft diamond gate. Easy enough. Get me an assembly table, easy enough. And now let's have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I need to find somewhere to these, power them up, get some chips made. And yeah, what we need to do for Gendustry then is spell it right again. Gendustry. And to get these machines made. So the first, what you need really is a mutagen producer. You can put redstone in that to produce mutagen. You need a mutatron, but there's also an advanced one. The advanced one's better, so it's best to go straight for the advanced one. So I need one of them. APUs, of course, I'm going to need loads of them, but I'll start off with like 3 just to do a bit of breeding. And then genetic imprinter we need, genetic sampler we need, protein liquefier, DNA extractor, transposer, and replicator we possibly don't need just yet. So I won't make them just yet. Now the thing is, one of these lets you make it so that you can do copies of bees, but they're ignoble, which means they need a upgrade in them. There's all these upgrades up here. There's an upgrade that lets you use ignoble bees without them dying. Come on. That one, lifespan upgrade, not in. I can't find it. It's in here though, believe me. There is one that stops them dying. And what you can do, there it is, that one. So that one stops them dying, so you can make more copies of good bees, and they'll be ignoble, but as long as you've got that in, they don't die, so you can get more and more and more. But because I've been quarrying, if we look in here, in fact if we look in here, they'll be in there, I've got like 282 rock hives. So if I start breaking them with my, what do you call it, my tool for breaking them, scoop, there we go, my family scoop. If I start breaking them, I'm going to get some ignoble, but I'm probably going to get enough. I've got pristine, got 2 pristine there, see. Probably going to get enough pristine that I probably don't need the ignoble stuff out of them. So we might have to rail later on if I need to get like stacks and stacks of bees going, but we should be okay. I do have to process all these hives into bees at some point as well. But yeah, so I'll get this laid down. I'll get these machines made. I'll come back when they're made. Just to quickly show you what's going on in here. So now, I have moved things around a little bit. They're kind of looking a little bit like the things in the oil tanker that I did in Utopia Resurrection. What I've done, I decided to move the quantum bridge across the side here, and it's got its energy cell there. I might put energy cells all the way around this as part of the pattern. What I've got, if we get out my network tool, you'll be able to see under the facades. So I've got a dense cable coming out of there, and this dense cable is going to go off left and right, so I can put P2Ps on it. I've got a single channel coming. I've got two channels used here actually. One on the crafting terminal and one on that RF P2P. These are the covers from thermodynamics. They're really cool, really easy to make as well. Where are they? Are they in my building bag? Yeah, cool. You just make these things, structural ducts, which are just iron nuggets either side of lead. You get your 6 at a time, and with a structural duct, all you need to do is combine it in a crafting bench with a block, and it'll give you covers for that block. Very nice indeed. So real nice and straightforward to make, real nice and straightforward to put together. So this is a energy. I don't know, can I pick them up with a wrench? Oh, I can break it over with a wrench. There we go. These are just like an energy LAN underneath, coming across. So I thought, as soon as these are going to be covered, I don't have to use them expensive LANs yet, but I probably will do at some point. So that's just coming across here and splitting out, and we have got our way of getting back there, dialed in from B cell back to the tree. What I'm going to have to put in here is a chunk loader. Now the thing is, with a chunk loader, it means we're going to get mobs in here, I think. So next time I come back, there might be mobs. What I think I'm going to have to do is put a magnum torch in each one of these. I've lit it up using the carpenter's blocks, and it's not fully. Oh, it's fully lit up. It's fully lit up using carpenter's blocks, but they're not working properly at the minute. It's not fully lit up. Look, we've got one rogue danger spot. But even though it says it's all lit up, because I'm using carpenter blocks with glowstone in, I don't think it is. So it could be dangerous. If we look at our dimensions, by the way, we're in dimension 2. So when I make more of these, I don't know if they're all going to be in dimension 2 or if each one gets its own dimension. I'm not sure. There's carpenter blocks, you can see how I've laid them out. So that should be lighting stuff up for us. I guess eventually that'll be fixed, so I might just need a temporary magnum torch in this. Yeah, I'm thinking of putting blocks up on the top as well, and putting a bit of light in these to light the wall up a bit. But yeah, I'll come back when I've got machines made and we'll get on with some Gendustry. I think I was talking balls around about the monsters spawning in my spatial IO, because they'll only spawn if I'm there and I'm not there, and when I am there's not enough space for them to spawn, so I think we're safe. It all depends if the next cell I make, if that's in the same dimension. I think they get a dimension each, so I think that will not be a problem. Right, I did about 20 minutes of footage on bees on Gendustry, and I didn't like it, so I binned it. I'm going to start again. I realised I was rushing it. I was skipping things. If you've never done it, then I was making it really hard to follow. So I'm going to start again. Basically, how you'd start with bees normally is you would get your scoop, you'd get some bees, and you would make an apiary. If you just had forestry, you make this guy an apiary, or possibly a bee house to start with, because an apiary does need an impregnated casing, which needs a carpenter and some seed oil. But you can make a thing called a bee house, which is a little bit more straightforward. That uses a piece of comb that you get from breaking the halves anyway, and that will get you a bee house. But with Gendustry, we can skip all that. Gendustry lets us make things better, and if I'm being perfectly honest, it makes bees a lot more fun. Now, there's of course extra bees, which used to be more fun than it looks like it is now. I've not played with the new one. I've seen a couple of videos, and it doesn't look as fun as it was. It looks a lot more grindy than it was. Gendustry is kind of like the opposite. Gendustry is really really direct and to the point. You throw RF at stuff and it makes it fast. So what you can do is, the first thing you can make is an industrial apiary. Most of this stuff takes bronze. I've got a bronze case in there, forestry item. We've got bronze gears there. I'm using the Tinker's ones, the Thermal Foundation ones, using the Tinker's alloy, which is also a Thermal Foundation, because it's easy to make. Bit of glass, and this thing called a bee receptacle. Again, more bronze. Everything in this uses a lot of bronze. So what I've done is I've got a couple of these up here, I've run power up here, and I've got a bit of power there. As you see, I've got some bees in. This is a common bee that I made on camera a bit back before I binned the footage. I'll show you why that's a bad bee. But in here, I've just got meadows queen, meadows drone, forest queen, and a forest drone. Just doing a little bit of basic stuff. And what I'm doing is I'm getting a little bit of honeycomb. That's why I've got these in here, because I'm going to start off properly. So I'm going to get all this honeycomb. What I can do with this is 2 forestry things I'm going to make here. I've made even. I've got a carpenter, very similar recipe to the Gendustry stuff, of course, because the Gendustry stuff's kind of based on this. I've got a carpenter there, and I've got a thing called a centrifuge. What a centrifuge can do for us, and this is the only thing in the pack that can do this, is it can process honeycombs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to process some honeycombs, and what we're going to get out of that is beeswax and honey drops. And you can see, if you look through here, exactly how much you get. You get a 90% chance of a honey drop and a 100% chance of a beeswax per honeycomb. So there we go. We are getting some good stuff there. Now what we want, before we go any further, is we want to make a thing in this carpenter. And the thing we're going to make requires a bit of water. So I'm just going to borrow that thing. That water barrel, Pam's Harvest Craft, and I'm going to make this thing in here. It's called a Beealizer. What this does, it lets you see the stats of all your bees. So you see, it's got to be made in a carpenter. It's some redstone, some glass panes, some tin, and a diamond. So redstone, glass panes, and tin. I'll make them yellow hearts soon, because I've not got them yet. I've got 10 red ones, I've got no yellow ones, and a diamond. There we go. And what we can do is we can jump back up here. I'll tell you why we're doing this out here and not in the spatial cell in just a minute. All my production bees will be in the spatial cell. I've got an issue, and I'll explain it when we get in there. But it'll become apparent why I've actually got the bees out here and not in the cell specifically made for them. So we put that in there. It's got power, nothing's happening still because it needs water. So if I put that down there, I think it's only a couple of buckets of water it needs. So it's, rather than plumb water up here, I might as well just do it like this. So there's one bucket and nothing's happening. There's 2 buckets. Something's happening. There we go. So it's 2 buckets of water it needs. And let's have a look at the recipes. I've got a recipe list here. Not sure, no recipes, there we go. These are all the things that we can make in this. 90 items can be made in this. A lot of stuff like that scented paneling we don't need, because this is the kind of thing, impregnated casing, this is the kind of thing you'd make for bee stuff if you was doing it just using forestry or using forestry and extra bees. But we can skip all this stuff because we are using Gendustry. 90 things there, a lot of stuff. There we go, we have got one lovely Beealizer. Excellent. And what we can do with this is we can put a bee in it. Nothing's will happen because we've got no honey drops, which is why I get honey drops. The plan becomes apparent here. Honey drops go on the top, and now we can scan a bee. There we go. And this bee has got 2 times fertility. This is not a standard common bee because I messed around with the stats. But if you put a bee in the top, it'll drop down there, it'll use one of the honeys, and then this is then a analysed bee. See, if I press shift on that, it's unknown. If I press shift, it doesn't make a difference. If I look at that one and then press shift, it tells me a few of its stats. If I put it in here, it tells me all of its stats. So it's a common bee. It's got specific lifespan, production speed, pollination speed, flower type. See, that's why I messed around with it a bit. Fertility, territory effects, and then if we look on there, see it's diurnal, which means it works in the day. It's not nocturnal, which means it won't work at night. It's a half tolerant flyer, but it's not the active one. And it can, tolerant flyer means it'll work in the rain, cave dwelling means it'll work indoors. And I've got these working outdoors in a minute because I've put a hole in the roof. So we can look at the stats like that. Now I'm going to, actually I'll let that finish off, and then we'll make a fresh one of them. But I'll use that princess, this will become a princess in a minute. I'll use it for something else. So I made these apiaries, they're running on power. If you mouse over there, it'll tell you how much power they're using. See there, it's using 21 hour for tick. Part of why it's using a little bit extra is because we have got light upgrades in this, which means these will work at night. So look at it now. There's your basic energy requirement is 20 RF a tick. You see that there, the temperature is normal, the humidity is normal. I'm in what is a normal biome with the plains, which is an ideal biome for doing bees, which is the reason why I'm back out here, not in a spatial cell. So a normal biome, 20 RF a tick, and the things you can put in here each up the power use. So that's 21 RF a tick, extra 5%. What our production bees will have in here, whoa, I managed to spell it right the first go. What our production bees will have in here is 8 of these guys. And look at that, production speed goes right up, but the energy consumption goes right up as well. Each one of these apiaries that I have, I'm going to have a lot of them. Each going to have that, which is why this is the whole thing with the power. These things are very useful. You can get plains emulation. So certain bees require certain biomes. We've got plains, we've got desert, we've got winter, we've got hell. So we'll be making some of these. We'll certainly need the hell one to make our hell type bees. Sooner or later we'll get the ±3 humidity and temperature tolerance, so all our bees should be able to work in the spatial cell. The spatial cell, it turns out, is icy, so it's very cold in the spatial cell. There's no sun in there, it turns out. Automation upgrade is a very useful one. They'll all be having them. What the automation upgrade does is it'll put the forest, it'll put whatever princess and drones straight back in there. Got all kind of bees going on. It'll put them straight back in there, and it'll just put the honeycombs and stuff in here, so then they can be exported out using whatever type of piping you're using. So if I was using these, if I was seriously using these for production, I would have the automation upgrade in there, certainly. There we go. I just wanted to get a little bit of honey with them though, a little bit of honeycombs, so we can get started with the analysing of stuff. So that is we're pretty much done up here for the time being. I'll take that honey, I'll put it in there. We don't need anything else from that really just yet, and I'll put that back. And I think the carpenter can probably go away for now, but I'll leave it there just in case something else pops up that we need it for. And I'm going to put that back there, put my bucket back in my bag, and we would go jump into the spatial cell. Boop. Right, in here I did a little bit of stuff earlier, and I'm going to talk you through what I've done here. First of all, I put 4 apiaries down, and then if you look at this first one, see there, temperature icy, humidity normal. So icy is the coldest. I think this might cause me trouble with some of the like hot bees, like hell bees, modest bees. So even with production ones, I might have issue with this. I'm not sure. It's I think ±3 can make any bee work in a normal, but I think a hellish bee is not going to work in here. So I might have to have some bees out in the main base, which is a bit unfortunate. But yeah, it turns out these things, as you might expect, are icy because they're like a void. So there we go. This is a temperature icy, humidity normal. You can also see that on Whaler if you press shift. Lets you know there. So I've got nothing in these at the minute. These are all the Gendustry machines that I made. Now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 machines there. If we look at Gendustry, we've got 1, 2, 3, not that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've only got 5 machines. The first machine we've got is an advanced mutatron. There is a basic mutatron, and there is an advanced mutatron. The difference, one of the differences, is this will breed bees that normally require some kind of certain temperature. For example, the nether type bees, hell bees, generally need to be bred in the nether for them to be able to breed. The advanced one lets you breed them in here. Also, what the advanced one does is if a combination of bees has more than one output, so like some of the bees can be either one or another. With the normal mutatron, it'd be random which one you get. With this, you can choose which one you get. So that's why we're going straight for the advanced mutatron. That guy needs mutagen. We've got mutagen in here. I put in some redstone blocks. It's used about 24 redstone blocks, and I've used a little bit. So redstone blocks is what I've used for this. If you look at the recipes there, you can see redstone gets you 1 redstone gets you 100 millibuckets of mutagen, and various uranium, glowstone, and redstone stuff will get you mutagen, and that's what I used. I used redstone blocks, so I've got a lot of it. So that's that machine. Then we've got genetic imprinter, genetic sampler. These are the workhorse machines. What this one does is this one will pull the stats or for B. So if we put them in there, we've not analysed that, so we've analysed that one. So this could pull any of the stats off that. So what we're going to get here is that's pulled the effect non-stat off that. Not great. It's one we've already got as well. I'll put that one in there as well. Why not? Ignores day and night false. Well, what we want is ignores day and night true. So that's useless to us. And what's this third one? Flowers. Meh, it's kind of okay. I'm going to bang them in there, try and get the forestry. What I'm trying to get off them, more than anything really, is the actual species. If it'd give me the species there, but it hasn't. 3 times fertility is not bad. That's possibly quite useful. Any of the stats you want to look at, by the way, say if I want to look at fertility, type in fertility, and then it'll show you all the different fertility stuff in here because of the way NAI is getting it. So fertility 3, fertility 1, fertility 4, so your best fertility is 4. If you click on that, it'll show you what kind of bees give it that. So frigid, absolute, jaded, majestic, miry, wintry, and oblivion will all have the fertility 4 stat as standard. So that's how you find out, that's how you can like aim what you want to go at. What we've got out of this: temperature tolerance none, useless. Tolerant flyer true, that's alright, but we've already got it. Ideally what I want is one of every species, and then I can make species at will then. So they're all pretty useless. What I'm going to do with them is I have set my storage bus on my draconic chest. I've added a fuzzy card to the storage bus. So any of these that go into there will go straight into the draconic chest where they'll get smelted, and when they're smelted they get put back to blank gene samples. So there we go, I've got them back as blank ones, so you can recycle them. They can go back in there, and we've got some blank ones. So that's that machine. This machine's a little different. What this one does is this adds stuff to bees. So if I wanted to add what's on this template to a bee, I'd put the bee in there. It would add it onto the template. All these machines, by the way, require these things. Genetics Labs wear. 1 diamond, 4 glass gets you 16. You see, that's got it. That uses them, and that uses them, and that uses them. We'll get to that in a minute. So this thing uses a thing called a genetic template. This I made on camera. But what we've got is tin, iron, redstone. You get a blank one of these, and then what you can do, if you put it in your crafting grid with certain stats, you can add, so by stats I mean with, for example, that tolerant flyer true, which I think this has already got actually. Tolerant flyer true, it's already got it. So if it didn't have that, I could go like that, it would add it to it. It's already got it though. See, 5 of 13. Still got 5 of 13, so that's not going to make a difference. But what I've done there is, you can see I've added 5 things to that. It says 5 of 13 there. There's 13 possible things we can have. So for my breeding bees, what I'm going to want is I'm going to want to put well, my production bees. This is going to be production bees. I want fertility at 1, so I don't have to deal with extra bees, which I've got down there. Species I'm going to leave as blank. And then I can have species on a separate one, so I can change species at will. Ignores day and night, I want that. I want true on that. Flowers, rocks, that's pretty useful because that means it just uses any stone. So these Tyrian blocks count as rocks, so I don't have to have flowers planted anywhere. So that's quite useful. What else we got? Speed missing. Speed we want fastest because that gets us more produce. Cave dwelling true means it can work indoors, so it'll work in here. Effect none. Effect non-safe. Some effects are negative, like the ender bees hurt you. Some effects are positive. The imperial bees had regen. So depending on what you want, you might want an effect or just have none. Lifespan we want longest. Don't really matter so much. It just takes a small amount of time for the bee to get made back into a queen. So when a bee dies, queen dies, the princess and the drone go back in there. It takes a little bit of time, and then they're producing again. With a longer lifespan, it's a little bit less. It's better. With these, it don't make that much difference. But if you want to be really efficient, you want the longest lifespan. The next couple, well, no, territory don't really matter. Territory is how far it will spread flowers. Skip down a couple. We've got flowering missing. That's what flowers it'll spread, if you know what I mean. So so how fast flowers will spread. So if we had the biggest territory and the highest flowering, we'd get a lot of extra flowers being produced. But we don't really care for that, so I'm going to leave them two off. And then we have got fertility. Like I say, on your production bees, you want one, so you don't have to deal with the extra drones that it's producing. On your breeding bees, you want 4, because then you get 4 drones you can put for the genetic sampler. So you've got 4 chances of getting a stat rather than 1. So we'll have 1 and 4 on different ones of these. And then what else we've got? Humidity tolerance, temperature tolerance, we want both of them to be ±3, because that's the best we can get. And then tolerant fly down there means it'll work when it's raining, which doesn't matter if we're in here, but I've got it anyway. So that's what I've got on there for now. Got another one of them, that's an empty one, just to show you how an empty one is. You see that when you mouse over it, it doesn't say 5 of 13, and if you press shift, nothing happens. That's an empty one. In here, I've got one of each of the things that are on there. I've got one extra there as well. I've got species Rocky. So what I did, I had about 15 Rocky bees, Rocky drones, put them through the sampler, and these are the useful ones it gave me. It gave me a species one, which is pretty useful. The fact that I've got like 200 odd Rocky halves means I probably never need Rocky as a species, but it's useful for turning other princesses back into a Rocky one to use for the breeding and stuff. And then there's the other 5 things that I've got there. The way I've got copies of these, that was this other machine that I've not mentioned yet. That's a genetic transposer. What you do with that is you put a blank in there, you put a target one in there, so buy a target one. If you want to get a copy of that Rocky, the Rocky goes there. If I put a blank one in there, I would get another Rocky one. So I'd get a copy there. Use a bit of RF. So you can copy all of these gene samples, which is very nice. So you can get a big collection of gene samples, and then you can have a collection of these genetic templates for whatever suits. So you can pretty much manipulate the genes of the bees really nicely. So that's them machines. The machines I've not got, just for clarity here, we have got protein liquefier, DNA extractor, and genetic replicator. That's the 3 machines I've not got. What they do is they will let you copy a bee. They will, if I put a bee in, if I put a princess in, I think that might have to be a queen or a princess, it will copy that bee, so you'll get a copy of it, but it'll always be ignorable. And what ignorable means, if you look at these, some of these are ignorable, some of them are pristine. Pristines will keep running, ignorables will die off after a few iterations. What we've got with Gendustry is we have got this upgrade. Where is it? Damn, you can never find these damn things. That upgrade there, that will mean a ignoble bee will never decay, it will never die. It'll always stay ignoble, but it won't die. So you can use a replicator to create copies of your useful production bees, and they'll have to have, in one of these slots, they'd have to have one of those stabilizers, otherwise they die. We'd actually need that because I've been quarrying. I've got 1 million hives. I've not got 1 million, but I've got 249 potential pristine princesses there. For a long time down the line, we may require to do some of that with a genetic replicator, but we don't for now. So I'm not going to bother for now. So how would we get started then? I'll put these drones back in there, and we'll start off with the most basic thing we can do, which is to get a. Oh, I've only got ignobles. I've only got ignoble forest or meadows in here, which is a shame. I'll tell you what, I'm going to start with Rockies. Now, I'll press U on Rocky. I'm just going to show you what they can breed with. So, no, we can't start with Rockies because we need. Oh, we can. There we go. Rocky in a forest. It's going to get me a common. So that's our first big one to go for, is a common. So I'm going to get a Rocky Pristine Princess there, and I'm going to get any mundane drone. These are called. So the ones that come out of hives are called mundanes. So if we look at a hive, we've got all these different hives. So any of the forestry ones are mundanes. I'm not sure about the magic bees. The Pam's hive one's completely different. We've got some from magic bees. The forestry ones are classed as mundanes, and the extra bees ones are classed as mundanes. That's different as well. The biomes are plenty one. So ignore the Pams, ignore the biomes are plenty. But I think the rest all classed as mundanes. So what we can do is, now in our advanced mutatron, if we put a Rocky Princess in and a forest drone, we get the option of getting a common queen. Wonderful. So we're going to get a blank, we're going to get a perfect stat common queen. This common queen has got the stats that it would have if it had spawned naturally, even though they don't spawn naturally. But that's got all, if you looked on a wiki for the stats of a common, that is what a common gets. As that, it's daytime only, can't work at night, blah 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 blah. If we look at a Rocky is really useful, because a Rocky has some real good stats. What a Rocky has is, on here, it's got yes on all these. So we've got yes, it works at night, yes, it works in the rain, yes, it can work indoors. So which is why I've been grabbing some of these hives. So I'll grab a load of them. What I need to do is put these through my little autonomous activator so I can get loads broken at once. Grab my scoop, put it next to my wand so it repairs. And I've been using these drones I've been getting out of here, because we can always make more drones. We need a few, but a couple, but it doesn't really matter. And I've been banging these through the sampler in the hopes of getting... These seem to all be pristine. The ones from a quarry seem to always be pristine, by the way. The ones that you get out in the world, it's like 50% chance. But what I'm after here, from these drones, more than anything else, is... at the minute, is the nocturnal one. It's not giving me it. It has been very tight. What we've got now is a common, and what I need to do is I need to let that common go through one cycle so it becomes a princess and a drone again. So I'm going to have to go back into Overworld because that won't work in here. If you look at that in here, it's because it's night time. If you look at the clock in here, so I worked out earlier, look at a clock, it doesn't know if it's day or night in here. So you're going to need bees that can work at night and during the day. They can all work during the day. They've all got diurnal, just only some have got nocturnal. So what's this giving us? Lifespan short, useless. So we don't need that at all. We can put that back in there and that'll get cooked back into another blank. We'll wait for them blanks. There we go. Put them back in there for later. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump back into my base. Thank you. And we will jump up there. So yeah, it's throwing a bit of a spanner in the works of my plans by having to come out of the spatial cell all the time. We're going to separate that into a princess and a drone. What I can actually do is I can take these ones. So let's jump back in there with these. We'll do our next breeding. So what I ideally want to do now, before I use all these up, is if I had the fertility 4, which I should go and try and find some wintry bees. If I had fertility 4, I'd give these bees fertility 4, get a good 20 or 30 drones, and then run the drones through there, try and get the common species off. So then if I ever need common in the future, I don't have to mess around breeding a common. I can just imprint a common onto any drone or any princess. I'm not going to do that just now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get my common princess. No, I'm not. I'm going to get a rocky princess and a common drone. What we can get on that is the next important bee, cultivated. The cultivated is a really good bee. The first thing the cultivated you'll notice that we get. So even though they had kind of wonky stats, this has no longer got wonky stats. This has got, again, textbook stats for a cultivated bee. It's got fast production speed, which is pretty useful. Again though, it's not got much in the way of that page. So we'll take that one back out. Now I can't really do anything until I've got some cultivated drones. If we look at what cultivated can become, cultivated can become Valiant's kind of special one. Valiant, you get a real low drop chance from any hive of getting Valiants. So ignore that, just ignore that a little bit. Rural, we breed from something else. What we're looking for here, that's the first path down our hell bees towards the ones that give us glowstone and lava. Well, what we want here is common and a cultivated. It's going to give us a diligent, and that's the first down the path towards imperial and industrious. We've got diligent, and we've also got another one called majestic. These are like the vanilla bees. The top level vanilla bees are imperial and industrious. That's the ones we're going to work at first, because the ones towards it, majestic, diligent, industrious. I forget the name of the other one. Industrious and not prehistoric. There's the imperial that I was talking about. There we've got Noble, that's the one I left there. Get some majestic, then majestic can become noble, then noble majestic together can become imperial. These form the base bees for a lot of other ones. So I'm going to cut camera now. I'm going to work my way towards getting imperials. I'm going to try and get the species of each of these on a gene sample as I'm doing it. So it's going to take me a couple of hours. I shall be back when that's done, and then we'll start working on the good bees. Most of the good bees start off as Rockies, I'm being honest. We've got a lot of really good bees that start off there. I keep showing this blood all at one. I don't really want to see it. Resilient. See what a resilient bee can give us. In fact, we'll go further on from resilient. We'll go right up the chain. Rusty, corroded. Corroded, I believe, is copper. Rusty is iron. Lapis, lead. So these are the bees that kind of start giving us products. What we need is the one that gives us the unstable, I think. Is it unstable that gives us the bees? Oh, nuclear. Ooh. Come on, nuclear. What do you give us? Shows you products. Nuclear and glycerin is radioactive. Nuclear and glycerin is yellorium. Oh, we've got a yellorium bee as well, and a cyanide bee. So I can actually go straight to yellorium. So we'll have to see which one gives more, because they both work as fuel for our reactors. What we get there, 2% chance of a radioactive comb. Radioactive comb for our centrifuge that I showed you gets some crushed uranium ore. 50% chance. Okay, if we backtrack that a little bit, yellorium one gives us 2% chance of yellorium comb, and that gives us 25% chance of yellorium grains. You need 4 grains to make one, so it looks like the nuclear ones are maybe better. We shall see, we shall see. So I'm going to do a bit of work, a couple of hours of work on getting our vanilla bees sorted. I shall be back when that's done, and we'll carry on from there. And here I am then, back. It's been quite a few hours since you last saw me. I have had a little bit of AFK and I've done a little bit of work. What I got was, I went for a travel. I went north and I went and found a snowy biome. Right up there. Found a snowy biome, got a couple of wintry bees. Now the only ones I got were ignoble, so I actually had to use make and use, it's in this bag here, I had to make and use genetic stabilizer to make sure they didn't die. So I kept breeding wintries until I managed to pull the fertility 4 gene off them. I also made that winter emulation upgrade. That takes a little bit more complicated item there. It's got that climate control module, pretty straightforward. It has that environmental processor there, which I made like that, which has got a golden chipset in, and that let me run wintry bees here. At the minute, what I've got is I've got a unwary in there, which is the next step up from cultivated and diligent. So that's, we've got that. That's not what I want to look at. Unwary. Unwary, there we go. Cultivated and diligent gets me an unwary. Now the next step past unwary is the industrious, I believe. Yeah, look. Diligent and unwary gets us an industrious. So industrious is the top of that line, and the top of the other line is noble and majestic. There's a noble. I've got majestics back in the cell. What I just want to do here is I'm trying to get this guy killed as quick as possible. Now it's got a short on life. I've got these things in here. Lifespan upgrades. Lifespan minus 33%. I think that makes them die quicker. Does it make them live longer? I think it's making them die quicker. You see my... No, it's raining. That's why it's not working. I need to be able to sleep. So if I started blood magic, I could now make it night time using a imperfect ritual stone, and then I could sleep and get rid of the rain, but I can't do that. So what I might as well do is I'm going to go to the cell. As you can see by the fuel, I'm down to 21 fuel. I've been using the draconic dislocation thing to get in and out of it nice and quick, because one ender pearl's cheaper power wise than that, but I will eventually go to that. So what I've got in here, as you can see, I have had these bees, these nobles running with a lot, and the diligence running a lot. The reason why I've been able to do that is because I've got quite good stats on them, so that's what I should show you. I've got in here, if we look, we've got the 4 times fertility on them, pulled off the wintry, and I've got, oh, nocturnal's not on that one, okay. I thought I would have had nocturnal on that, but not yet. So I've not got nocturnals on those. They can now go in there. So our next thing was noble and majestic, wasn't it? This is what I said I needed. I've got no majestics. I thought I had a majestic. Well, I've made a mess of that. Majestic. We've got a majestic princess. There they are. I've got majestics. Oops. I just was not thinking there was that colour. So the noble can go in there. That's not what I want to do at all. The noble needs to come with me. Now I can't find the noble. They all look the same bloody colour to me once I'm in this bloody screen. Mystical noble, there we are. So I suppose I should show you what I've got first. I managed to pull off these species ones. I've got common, cultivated. So the mundane ones I've been using. Let's start with them. I've got forest, I've got meadows, and I've got rocky, and I've got wintry. There's 4 of the mundanes. That's the only mundanes I've used up to now. The ones I've not used are modest, tropical, swampy, whatever that is. That's a 3 in it, yeah. So I've got them mundanes, I managed to pull them species off. On top of that, I've got the first steps common, cultivated. Then the second steps from them are diligent and majestic, I think. Yeah, diligent and majestic. And the next steps from them are noble and unwary. So I need to get unwaries. I need to get nobles. I've not got a noble yet, have I? Alphabetical order. No, I've not got a noble yet. So I need to get nobles in there to try and pull the noble species off. These I think will all be trash. I've been jumping backwards and forwards between the 2 rooms. Yeah, in hindsight, I should have made the breeding area up in the main base and then just come here when production was ready. It's because I didn't know the temperature in here. And that's kind of thrown things a little bit awry. So a noble and a majestic is going to get me an imperial. There we go. There's our first top level B. That's our first what you'd call it. Yeah, top of the family tree type of B. And what we want here, noble. There we go. We've got it already. Sweet. So I can save all them drones, use them for other things later. They can go in there. And what I've been doing each time I get a species, I've been getting more of those template things. What are they called again? That guy, genetic template. I thought it was called a template. Let's make a few more of them because I've actually run out now. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll have another 8 of them, and we'll put 7 of them in there. And we'll combine one with the noble. So there we go. We've now got noble added to our thing there. So I've our species 1, common, cultivated, diligent, forest, majestic, meadows, noble, rocky, and wintry. So our next ones we're getting are unwary. That's in the other place. Imperial, and then once we've got unwary, I can get. Well, once we've got some unwary drones, I can combine them with the majestic. I think to get myself industrious. Unwary, diligent. Unwary and diligent to get industrious, I believe. Yeah, noble, majestic, imperial, unwary, diligent to get industrious. So we get the second one of them, and then the other 2 things I've got here. These 2. So I've been building these 2 up. That one there with fertility 4, see down near the bottom there, that's my one that I want for breeding. So what I should do is, in fact, let me jump back to the tree a second. Is it still raining or is it night time? It's morning and it's not raining. Oh, it is raining. Can I sleep? I can. Awesome. So what should happen now is that one should progress and stop working. I've taken the automation out so it'll just stop, and we'll do the same with the imperial we've got there. And then once they are a separate princess and a drone, I'll run them through with this one so they get 4 fertility, and then I'll leave them here for half an hour so I get loads of drones, and then I can run the drones for the sampler and get the species off. Yeah, all good. And then this one is one that I'm starting to work up for my actual production ones. So pretty much the same, apart from these ones, well, these have got shortest lifespan, and I put fast on there because that's all I've got up to now, but I will go for fastest when I can get it off another bee, and same with that, I'll go for fastest on that. Well, that one's going to have longest and fertility one, so I'm having one for breeding bees, one for production bees. So you can see I'm well on the way. I'm getting some good combs. I've got stringy combs which give propolis if you want that stuff, which can be used for making the bags and stuff, I think. Do you need that for bags? You need it for something, I'm sure. Oh, you used to need it for something. Oh, sticky resin, interesting. Glass, well, you need it for stuff. And we've got the dripping one, which is a good one, which gives you the honeydew. And you get a chance of honey drop, but you get honeydew from that. You can use honeydew in there as well, but honeydew is one of the things that you need for the ambrosia, which, there we go. That uses honeydew and royal jelly. Royal jelly is from the imperials that we've just got, and wax capsules is made from beeswax, which we're getting a lot of that from the normal combs. So if we look in there, we've got beeswax and just honey in there for now, but we're starting to get the good stuff. I'm going to just look at getting this stuff automated fairly soon, so these should die pretty quick. Come on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these two imprinted through that, just so you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to wrap up the episode, and I shall get to I'll get as far as I can between episodes with these, getting all the stats I can off these guys, and then we should be starting working towards the actual production bees that I want, and we're going to be working towards the nuclear or the Eulorium, probably the nuclear one, as quick as we can. And we'll have to see exactly how it's going to work in my little thing there. This episode's a bit weird. I kind of don't like it, to be honest. It's gone long and I don't think I've really done much, but I hope you don't mind. Next episode I shall have a few things organised to aim at specific bees, and I shall be doing that. But basically this is all the grunt work, and normally with just forestry this would take like many days. With the new extra bees it looks like it'd take many days, and I've done a bit of AFK. I went out for a while earlier and I have come back and forth, so it took me a few hours. But if I'd just been constantly at this, and if my setup had been slightly better in the same place, I could have done this in maybe 3 hours, 2 hours. So it's a lot more efficient using Gendustry for this to get to Imperials, certainly, than using just vanilla forestry. Right, I'm going to wrap up there. No, I'm not. I'm going to wait a minute. Can't. I was getting impatient then. I'm going to get this guy, and then I'm going to go back to the other place, and then I'm going to wrap up there, aren't I? Like I already said. Come on, hurry up. So yeah, I'm fairly sure lifespan minus 33% means they die quicker, yeah? Oh, it does make them live longer, does it? To get more production out of them. I shall have to, it doesn't make no sense to me that, but I shall have to time them with and without that. So now I've got these both go through this one with the breeding one to get the 4 fertility on. So that goes in there, and I put one of them and one of them. This spare one I might as well try and run it straight through that, see if I get the species off it, because it's a species that's important for me. For now, there's certain bees that I want that I'm going to have certain other things. As you can see, I've got an item buffer on there. Flowers, so that's not what we was after. There we go. That princess has now got fertility 4, and it's got some other stuff. So it's got the night. It's got all these stats here as well, which is pretty useful. I need these stats next, so I need to start working towards bees with those stats. It's got that 4 times fertility, shortest lifespan, so it should die nice and quick as well. I got them off the cultivated bees, the shortest lifespan. So there we go, and then I'll put them two through as well. Put them back into the place, get a stack of drones so I can get the species off, and then carry on. So we can. I've got. No, I didn't have any spare. I did. I've got an unwary. Wary, a diligent. I've got an unwary. I've got a diligent. There we go. We can get our industrious as well. Industrious, hooray! So we've got both our top level bees from the another branch, and we are on our way. Excellent. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for watching. I hope it was not too boring. I hope you followed what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and I hope to see you next time. Cheers. Bye.